Hi guys, my name is Nicholas Khan and welcome to the VideoCon clan. So, Spider-Man has been out for a couple of days on Marvel's Avengers, and we did a stream actually, where we hopped on, we played him, had some fun, gave some first thoughts. If you want to watch that stream, you can go to the bottom of the channel page for Nicholas Khan Gaming, where I have a playlist called Past Streams. You can look through all the past streams, and it is there. But today, what we're going to do is actually go through the marketplace for Spider-Man. And that is because I enjoyed playing as Spider-Man. I enjoy the gameplay of the character. I actually have a bit of a problem with his wardrobe. So what we're going to do is go through every single costume that is currently available. We're going to talk about them. We're going to judge them. So let's start here. Legendary outfit. Or epic. Maybe we'll work our way up to legendary. Oh, look at all these emotes. Cool. But let's get into the costumes, right? They're not my favorite. They're not my favorite. Okay, let's start with this first one. Spider-Man Arachnophobia suit. So that's cool. None of these are really based off of the comics or anything, so this is kind of like... Oh, the mask kind of reminds me of like a luchador. And obviously the rest of it's more of just like a tracksuit with a hoodie type costume. It's kind of very street level, which Spider-Man is a street level hero. I don't hate this one as much because it's kind of, you know, it works for what it's supposed to be. Right? It's not supposed to be the fanciest costume. Has some cool colors on it, has some grays, has a hoodie. This one I don't have too much problem with, right? Cool logo. This one, Secret War suit. I don't know why that happened. Oh, preview. Wrong button. Alright, Secret War suit. The Secret War suit appeared like for one panel in one comic, and for some people, for some reason, people gravitated to it. They loved it. This is definitely a little different than the comic version. A little more detailed. It's okay. I think maybe it's a bit too detailed, like not as sleek, like a little bit of mismatched elements. Like there's just a little too much going on. Not necessarily with color, but like design. How it kind of looks like three different suits from like head to shoulder and arms, and then like chest and midsection is its own thing, and then legs are its own thing. It looks like three different suits put together. Like, I do like the red eyes. They're a little small for my taste, but yeah, it almost looks like an undersuit, right? With like wires and stuff on it. It's not the worst costume, but something about it just feels a little off. Alright, this one, we'll preview it. It's another it's kind of like a design from the first one, except for this doesn't look as much like a luchador mask to me because it looks a bit thicker. It almost looks like a biking helmet without being a biking helmet. Like if you wanted a mask that also was kind of like a motorcycle helmet. And then I don't think that the hoodie and like shorts and like sweatpants combo works as well with this one because it just kind of looks like an outfit more than a costume. The other one felt kind of themed. Right, this one has a lot of colors and stuff, and it doesn't look like a lot of thought was put into whoever put this on. It looks like they just kind of threw it on and went out, right? The other costume looked like it was purposeful, like it was designed like an outfit, like a costume. This just kind of feels like a couple of things somebody threw on. This one. Oh, this one. First of all, Spider-Man Future Forward? It's called Future Foundation, but this is going to be the first costume that really showcases my biggest problem with most of the line of these costumes, and it's right here at the top. Look at this. Look at this stupid collar. I don't like it. Spider-Man's like a sleek hero, right? He's like a one-piece costume. What's with this like dumb teardrop collar looking thing up here? He didn't break his neck. He doesn't have to wear a cone. It's just weird. I don't like it. Spider-Man doesn't need a collar like this. Not on a costume like this. It's just weird. The rest of it looks okay. right? It's like a more, I don't want to say high tech, but like a more detailed version of Future Foundation, right? And it's one of those things where it looks like a bunch of pieces put together for this costume, and a lot of them do, instead of like a sleek one piece like spandex suit, which is the traditional like Spider-Man costume. But yeah, I just hate that collar. I do not like it at all. Take the collars off of all of these and I would be fine with them. I'd say most of these suits are even good. Now this one, Spider-Man Brown Recluse suit, I don't have any problems with this one necessarily. I'm just not big on like browns and golds. I like colors that pop. I like colorful colors, you know, pinks and purples and greens and blues and reds and everything. This one's alright. This one's alright. Looks a little busy. I think a lot of them do, but it's alright. But again, the leg section looks like almost a completely different costume from the top section, which is weird. This one, Spider-Man Radioactive suit, it's definitely more armored. Like I said, I like the sleeker suits more. Well, maybe I haven't said it, but that's what I've been referring to. Like, I like the sleeker suits for Spider-Man. He's an acrobatic character, so when you armor him up and slow him down, that's a disadvantage because he's not fighting with his best skills, right? Oh, you take less damage, but you're also losing your ability in the thing you're known for, the thing you've built your combat style around. I like the colors on this. I just realized something. This is kind of like a Buzz Lightyear Spider-Man almost, with the color scheme and everything. He's a Space Ranger. Infinity and beyond. Space Ranger with a little bit of padding on his arms and his chest. Oh, I guess in his boots too. So I like the colors. I like the logo. I'm not a big fan of the armored look. The back here looks a little too busy. Looks like there's a lot going on. I don't know. I would prefer that these are simpler. I just feel like they're too complicated for their own good. But for a radioactive suit, I don't really have a ton of complaints except for the fact that there's no like radioactive glow about him, which I know doesn't really happen with these suits. It can with gear, actually. So that's not even really a valid complaint, but yeah. See, this is what I want. Look at this. Still thinks it a little busy, but there's no collar. There's no ridiculous collar, and it does look sleek. Underground suit. I like this. I actually do like this one. I like reds. I do like a lot of colors that pop, but I do like that red, gray, black combo. This is cool. It's definitely sleeker. See, even back here, right? Because you're primarily just using three kind of colors, like red, gray, and black. It doesn't look as busy as the other costumes. It doesn't look like there's too much going on. There's a lot going on. Don't get me wrong back here. I mean, you see this. But it's not so much that I couldn't get over it, if that makes sense. But again, like the legs do a better job this time of not looking so out of place compared with the top half of the costume, but you can still see a difference. But this one does a better job. So honestly, this is my favorite so far of all of them. Spider-Man Alumnus. Oh, first high school. Okay, so it's another one of those like hoodie costumes. I don't know, man, like if you want to go for that I'm a superhero but I didn't have my costume on me type of look, or like I'm fighting crime after I just came from doing something else, you know, okay. I don't like these because I want my superheroes to look like superheroes and not like they just came out of Party City and want to fight crime. So that's a personal opinion thing, so I can't say that that's a knock on the costume itself. As an alumnus suit, like, I mean, they do have the Midtown High School. Oh, Science Club. That's cool. That's a nice detail. I like that. So with the idea they're going for, I think it's pretty cool. But if they're doing an alumnus school, I don't know. I don't know what you can do with the mask, but I feel like they should have done something different with the mask if we're going for a high school reunion vibe type of costume. And I've just never really been a huge fan of the pants under shorts type look. If anything, I would do the opposite. I'd be wearing shorts under my pants, and that's only because I need layers to stay warm. I don't know. I'm not into this look. Like I said, the colors, there's some blues and yellow, but they're faded. And then some browns. So, you know, it's middle of the road for me. I don't hate it. It doesn't make me mad like this one does. That stupid collar. But, it just doesn't do it for me. Like, it's not super. Okay, now, this is different, right? Uptown Suit. I don't like the collars on that suit because it's so out of place. Look at this. There's no reason for that collar to be there. This has a collar because it's on a jacket, and I love trench coats. So if the collar's on a jacket, it's a totally different story. I get it. I don't like this mask. It kind of reminds me of the Invisible Man, honestly. It's weird. It's a weird mask. I like the trench coat, though. I love trench coats. So I do like this costume, but this is not the one I'd pick up. I'm not a big fan of sweaters. I think the colors do a nice job meshing, but it doesn't look like Spider-Man. Like, it's weird. I get a weird vibe from it. Like, I like the trench coat, but I think the mask is weird. I think the sweater is weird. Like, maybe he wears this in the winter. But he looks more like the Invisible Man than he does Spider-Man. And it just reminds me of a costume that's not here, but we'll talk about that at the end of the video. Spider-Man Anglophile. I don't think I read out the names for all of these. Arachnophobia, Secret War, Costume Shop. Okay, well, that makes sense for what they're going for. Future Forward, Brown Recluse, Radioactive, Underground, Alumnus. I think I only missed one. Uptown Suit. So, maybe Uptown Suit, maybe Uptown Funk. They're going for a Bruno Mars type of look, but Bruno Mars would wear more browns and yellows in my opinion, so like, maybe change up the color scheme a little bit. It's not the worst, but I don't like that it reminds me of another character. So it's hard for me to envision this being Spider-Man. Anglophile. Again, I would really like this one if it wasn't for this dumb collar. Look at this. It even matches the top to the bottom. This is sleek. This is cool. The padding on the shoulders is a little bit weird. I don't like the angle of it. It almost looks like it points. But I do like the colors. I do like the design. And I like how the bottom half of the costume doesn't look like a completely different costume compared to the top. I even like the mask. It's a more helmet design, but I like it. I just don't like this collar. There's no reason for it to be there. Take that off and I would love this suit, honestly. But I hate this collar. Like, I don't get it. Like, he's supposed to be feeling like he's driving a car with his head on a headrest, like, while he's fighting crime? Like, what's the point of this collar? I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Wrestler suit. Interesting, but I don't like the mask. I don't like the mask because if it's the wrestler suit, it's supposed to be like his first costume, right? When he did the whole wrestling thing before Uncle Ben died. And so that should be a cheap homemade costume. Basically, like a ski mask with some holes cut out of it, or like a, you know, one of those things like a beanie, but it like covers your whole face type things. So I don't like how the mask looks a bit more of a higher quality than the rest of the costume. That I don't agree with. When it comes to the wrestler suit, I mean, I know they're doing their own thing and they're going with this kind of design that they do for a lot. Like, it's just a reskin of the other designs. So I don't necessarily hate it for the wrestler suit. I think this would make sense as like one of his like his very first like suit. But I don't like the mask. I think the mask is too high quality compared to the rest of the suit. Spider-Man Night Out suit. Okay, this doesn't remind me of Invisible Man just because of the colors. This is Spider-Man colors. This is cool. I mean, I'm liking this one. It does look like Spider-Man out in the rain. And like, the mask is still a little weird because it's that like leather, like stitched together type look. And you've got the sweater, but I definitely like this more than some of the other costumes. I like this way better than the like costume shop design costumes. And like I said, I do really like trench coats. The other one does remind me of Invisible Man, but thinking about it, I might actually like it more. Even though I have less complaints about this one, which is weird, but there's something about this that just doesn't work as well. I think it's too close to Spider-Man's outfit without being his outfit. So it's like, why not just wear your actual costume, right? At least the other one is different enough that it feels like another option, right? This just feels like a backup because your suit's being dry cleaned or something. Alright, look at this. Shield issue suit. I think it makes sense, right? This makes sense. If Shield's giving you a suit, they're going to add some added protection without taking away all your agility, right? Still allow you room to move around, but try to protect you a bit more. Shield logo, the colors are on point. It has that problem of the bottom half of the costume looking a bit too different from the top half with the way the colors transition. But other than that, I like this. It takes a little bit of inspiration from the Secret War design, I feel like, but does it better. And it makes sense why it looks like this. There's not too much going on with the colors because the colors are very similar, so they blend a bit better. And I do like blue. So overall, and there's no stupid collar. Overall, I really like this one, actually. It's definitely one of my top ones. This would be one of my top ones if it wasn't for the stupid collar. Big time suit. Alright, you're basing this off of the comics. He's never had collars like these in the comics. It just doesn't make sense. I don't like it, and I especially don't like it on a character supposed to be like super acrobatic. It just feels like a waste. Like it would catch the wind and slow you down a little bit. Like, you know, and you might say the same thing for the trench coats, but like, you're going for a whole different look at that point. This collar thing, it doesn't fit with the sleeker look. I really like this costume. I really like the colors. It pops, it's neon, it's cool, and the legs of the costume do not look like a different costume from the torso. I really like this. Again, I don't like the angle of the shoulder pads. That's still weird, but I really like this one except for the collar. That's the only thing holding this costume back for me. But other than that, I think it's a good adaptation of Big Time. Alright, Spider-Man Menace suit. Press the wrong one again. Okay, so I like this as an armored suit. Right, and like I said, I'm not as into the armored suits, but I don't want my bias to go into the ranking. I'm talking about my personal preferences here a lot. But if we're talking about how the actual costume stands up, I think it does well. As an armored look, I think it's cool. I like how it's using a lot of the traditional Spider-Man colors, but it's focusing more on the blue than the red, so it's still different and unique. This one is good. This one is good. And it does look like there's a lot going on, but I'm more accepting of that in a costume with armor, because armor is already like a lot going on, so it comes with the territory. But on the sleeker costumes when there's a lot going on, sleek also means it's not like rigid or a lot of bumps in the road, which kind of reminds me of it being distracting. Like, a lot going on with the color scheme here isn't distracting because it's already a more distracting suit because it's armored. So I think this one is good. I do like this one. Even though I probably wouldn't use it because I like the sleeker suits. This one, I like the idea of it. Blue Peter. I like the colors. Obviously, like I said, I'm not as big of a fan of the gold, yellowish colors. But I think this one's cool. The gloves are weird. Like, everything else is dark and that's bright. I don't like that, and I don't like the collar. That's also white. That just doesn't make sense to me. But I think it is well put together. And it just... there's something about this one that feels better than the one that's closer to his costume color-wise. Because I think, again, you're taking it as its own costume instead of, like, how does this compare to the original Spider-Man costume. This one's cool, but I don't like the collar and I don't like the gloves. I don't think they fit with the color scheme. But I do love trench coats. Kind of reminds me almost of like a pirate type look. Like with the colors for some reason. And that could be way off base, but I'm not sure. Alright, Spider-Man Mark II suit. This is just a reskin of Big Time that's not as good. There's not too many colors, so that's appreciated. The top and the bottom blends well, but not perfectly, and not as well as some other costumes, but it's alright. Again, I don't like the collar, but let me look at this objectively. As a suit, it's sleek. I think it works well. And honestly, For some reason, the collar on this one doesn't make me as like, ugh, as the other ones. And maybe it's just because the colors blend a bit better on it. Maybe it's just because I've been looking at a lot of them. I still don't like it. Don't get me wrong. It would be way better without it. But for some reason, these particular colors, the collar looks like it belongs there more than some of the other ones. I don't know what it is. Maybe the fact that the way the colors blend does make this look like a thicker, like almost more armored suit, so it makes sense that there's extra protection. But you go back to a suit like this is supposed to be sleek, so why is there a collar there? Why is there anything that's not smooth surface, right? That's a break, that's a gap that would catch air. You know what I mean? That's why I don't like it. This is an armored one, but it's just, you know, I mean, he has had looks like this in the comics, right? The armored look. It's cool, but it's boring, right? It's just gray, it's just black. Like, I don't want too much going on, but I still want a little bit going on. So to me, this is boring. It's a Mark 1 suit, but I think it makes sense. That's just kind of gray and black. So it's simple, it works, but for me, it's just not exciting. This is kind of like the Mark 1 suit, but a bit more exciting. I like this better, because there's some blue in there, there's some highlights, there's some stuff that stands out. It just seems like a better shadow suit, like a better version of that suit overall. So I actually kind of like this one. Like, if I got one of the armored ones, it would probably be this one. The colors blend nice. It's simple, again, but there's not like 1,000 things going on with it. It's functional. I like that one. Spider-Man safety first suit looks more like a beekeeper suit. This one's weird, but it's super armored. And there's not a lot going on color-wise, but there's a lot going on design-wise. This one is, I could take it or leave it. I could take it or leave it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. And it's just kind of there. This one's interesting because it's sleek and it doesn't have the collar. So I like this one. And I love purple. Purple's my favorite color. But I will say that the colors do not match as well. They don't blend together that well. There's a lot I like about this. There is. That logo is cool, but it is different. The front logo I do like. I like the purple. I like the eyes, but I don't like how there's a line that connects them all the way back around. Like, the eyes should just kind of feel like they're floating on the mask. There shouldn't be another black line kind of making them feel more a part of it. Like, I don't like that. But I do like the colors. I just think that this should have been two separate suits almost. There's way too much going on here with colors and design. I mean, look at this. This is one costume. This back is a whole nother costume. This front is a whole nother costume. Like, they took two costumes and meshed them into one. And that I do not like. So while there are some elements I like, it's just too busy. There's too much going on. And it's like you're trying to wear two costumes at once. I don't think that one works. This one's pretty standard, Mark III suit. I think it works. I like how there's red in it, unlike a lot of the other armored suits. It's way better than this one. I don't know what it is about that one, but this one, maybe it's the way the colors work. Like, you see how there's a lot of black and it just looks like a lot of random lines all over it. Almost like it's sectioned. This looks more uniform, and I appreciate that consistency in something that's supposed to be armor, if that makes sense. So I like this one. I think it works well. I think it's the best of its kind of design type, because this isn't the same as the other armored ones, right? This is like armored in a different way type of design with a couple of reskins. There's like 4 or 5 costume archetypes with some reskins for variety, but I like this one. I do like this one, and I think it works. Sublimate suit. So it's like, again, it's like a reskin of this one. This one, like I said, I do not like these colors. I just don't prefer these colors, but it works way better than this one because there's not 1,000 things going on. These colors mesh better. They blend together better. There are parts of it that kind of look like two suits competing for your attention, but not as much so. Like, they're less noticeable, and if you look at the costume like long enough, you can kind of like see how these would blend in with each other. But I do think it's a little busy. but it's way better than the purple one, even though I don't like those colors. This one, I don't know what this is supposed to be. Did I read this? Sublimate suit? Yeah. Prodigy suit. I don't know what this is supposed to be. This is weird. This is going a lot of different directions, and I feel like they just couldn't decide on how they wanted to design it. The top part and that little collarbone thing is its own costume, and then shoulders and chest is its own costume. What almost looks like the shoulders in the front of the arms here is different from the inside, and I get sometimes there's designs like that, but the fact that it's like a shiny material and then a not shiny material, it's weird, but it works way better than this one for sure. Spider-Man Hudson River suit, not as good as the Mark 1, too many colors. The colors don't, maybe I just don't like the colors, but I don't think this one meshes as well. The mask is a lot more busy, there's a lot more color, there's a lot more design breaks. I feel like there's a bit too much included in this. The more complicated the gear on the costume is, I think maybe the simpler the color design should be. So I don't think this works as well as the Mark III. There's too many colors. This has the exact same problems, but it's a little less bad. So it's not quite as busy color-wise. The colors mesh a little bit more. The way they divide up the colors with the designs doesn't feel overly designed, so that's kind of right in the middle. So those are all the costumes. So let's go back and rank the archetypes, right? So the first one we'll do, oh, we gotta start with this one, is the costume shop archetype. So my favorite of these, have to look through them again. Hold up. This costume, wrestler suit, costume shop suit. Okay, it doesn't look exactly like the other one, but it looks pretty similar. My favorite, I think, though, is this one. Arachnophobia. I like the way the colors mix, right? You often see a lot of active wear that's like gray and red and black, so I feel like it fits. Didn't mean to do that. I feel like that fits, so that's my favorite of that archetype. Let's go to the next one. These, the more traditional costumes, right? Ooh. One's without the collar. This is a tough one, to be honest. 100% not this one. Well, those are kind of in their own league anyway, let's be honest. We'll talk about them later. It's either the shield suit or the underground suit. I like both of them a lot, but I think, right, we see a lot of red and black Spider-Man suits. The shield issue suit is a little busier, but it makes sense as to why. And there's just something about it that works. So shield issue Spider-Man suit is my favorite for that type of design. What's next? These, the dreaded collars. I hate the collars. Hate the collars. But I think if one of them works the best, I mean, I'm always going to be partial to this neon green black combo. That's really cool. That's awesome. The collar is the least atrocious in this one, but I don't like these colors as much, and it's just kind of plain, so I have to go with Big Time Suit. Big Time Suit is my favorite in the collared category. What's next? Let's look at these armored suits, right? There's that one, and there's this one, and there's this one, and there's this one. I like this one, but the colors don't work as well in the armored padding. This is too simple for me. I like these colors. I like how they blend. Alright, no more of those. I like how they mesh. Radioactive is a cool idea, but I think I'm going with this. Shadow Suit is my favorite of this version of the armored costumes. What else we got? Let's talk about, trying to find it, these next. So there's Safety First suit, Spider-Man Concrete Jungle, Hudson River suit, Mark III suit, not even a contest, Mark III suit completely. All these other ones are just tacky. They stand out too much, or there's just too much variety in them, like a lot of different elements fighting for control. Let's do this. Let's look at these. All of those are absolutely awful, and they're the most expensive. It's like, why are they? They're useless. They're designed awful. I hate all of them, honestly. They're like gaudy. But if I had to pick one to use, I would go with this one, because even though it's the one that you can tell two different costumes are fighting for the look the most. I love purple. And these other ones are just colors that are meh to me. So now let's look at the trench coat ones. There's Blue Peter, Night Out Suit, Uptown Suit. That's it. There's something about this that feels too old-fashioned, right? Too past era. This is too close to his normal suit, so like with the colors, so why would I wear this when I could actually wear his costume that I like? So I think my favorite out of the trench coats has to be Uptown Suit, because it is its own thing. And while it does remind me of another character, it's different enough that it's its own type of costume. It's not reminding me of the fact that I could be wearing a better costume like this one is. And I don't know. I can't get over the flaws of this one. So my favorite for the trench coat category is Uptown Suit. And guys, I think that's it. Is that it? I believe so. So that's my ranking of the suits. And let me just talk for a second about the suits that I wish were here. Right, my biggest complaint is that some of the biggest, most important suits aren't here. And I know we have Spider-Man games, right? We have Spider-Man PS4 that has all those suits, but it's Spider-Man. And you can put MCU stuff in the game because you have for other characters. So I'm not as concerned about Tobey Maguire's suit or Andrew Garfield's. They want to put those in there, that's fine. Or even Tom Holland's, to be perfectly honest. The suits I want the most because they're just so iconic to Spider-Man. Okay, some of these might be a little biased, but I want the black suit. I want the Noir suit, or Noir, as other people pronounce it, and they're probably right. And the 2099 suits. Those are the 3 suits that I really want them to add, and it would be nice. They'll probably add Tom Holland's eventually MCU stuff, so I'm not too worried about that one. And as a bonus, I would like the Miles Morales suit, but this game has shown that they will just make different iterations of a character as different characters, right? Like Kate Bishop and Clint Barton are both Hawkeye, but they made them separate characters. They actually did make them different enough. You have different builds and different abilities between the two of them. So they probably wouldn't put that on a costume just because they would just make Miles Morales a character. But I doubt that's going to happen because I don't think they want to do 2 exclusive characters. So if they're not going to put Miles in, put his costume in. So that's kind of my thoughts on the costumes, guys. If you agree with me, let me know in the comments. If you don't agree with me, let me know in the comments. Just be civil and nice to each other, guys. And if you do not want to miss more gameplay videos and more kind of videos like this, talking about things, reviewing things, discussing things, then please tell all your friends. If you don't want to miss out on the content, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Nicholas Khan, and just remember, Khan Clan, be as daring as a dinosaur.
I am Nicholas Khan. Khan Clan gonna get strong. Any obstacle in my way, I bust down and keep moving along. Keep moving along.